You already listened. Now watch the fan. Check out the KFAN YouTube channel for exclusive videos, in-depth takes, initials.
It's always funny.
And password games and behind-the-scenes content. Search KFAN on YouTube and hit subscribe today.
I'm Com in East Tennessee. We welcome the legendary one, Mark Rosen, into the conversation. And, anytime I go up to Brainerd to get away, up to Camp Richard, as I like to call it, I'll always say, once I get north of the Idaho County line, my troubles are behind me.
Right.
Once you get east, once you cross that eastern seaboard and are flying across the Atlantic Ocean, your troubles are going to be behind you.
I hope so.
You leave on Saturdays?
Tomorrow.
Oh, you leave tomorrow?
We're gone.
Okay.
Yeah, we're leaving tomorrow. Yeah.
Leaving tomorrow, bright and early? How long
later
of a
in the
flight
afternoon.
How long of a flight
9 hours.
9 hours?
Yeah. So hopefully get some shut-eye because you're trying to keep up, the body clock. Whatever. We're flying directly to Rome. I'm not going to.
First class, right?
I hope so.
What do you mean you hope so?
No, I know. Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I'm not going to. I'm 6'7".
It's available to everybody.
Oh,
Well, it is.
I'm not going to get crunched.
Are you flying Delta?
Yes.
Just Google Delta 1 to Italy. Typically ranges from $11,000 to over $13,000 round trip. Is that correct? Is it that much?
Well, it's gone up.
So it's more than that.
Ticket, no. We got our tickets quite a while ago, and as you know, I mean, there's oil prices have gone up, and gas prices have gone up, and I think, in fact, I read something today that Europe is concerned about running out of fuel in about 6 weeks. I went, well, hopefully it's not going to be in 2 weeks.
What if you get stuck over there?
Worst places to be.
Well, when we
stuck in Italy for
when
months.
When COVID first, when it was like when they canceled the NBA and all that, we thought we might have to stay. We were in Hawaii.
Oh.
And so I thought quarantined. Hawaii. What a bad break. Of course, you start staying over there, so it's getting expensive. But still, we laughed because they said if you're going to be quarantined somewhere, Hawaii wouldn't be a bad spot.
Better in Cedar Rapids, no offense.
So you fly in, and then now your transportation? Will you rent a car when you're there?
At some point, when we're going. You really want my whole itinerary?
Well, I'm fascinated. Yeah. Well, what are we going to tell it? Whoa, who's going to start at goalie? What do you think of the Wolves?
Yeah, I heard that whole thing. No, I don't mind. No, so we're going to spend 3.5 days in Rome. We're meeting our good friends there, and Karen's niece will be there because she teaches over in Europe, and so she's going to have a couple days off, and then hopefully just get our body clock straightened out, and then time we get there, it'll be Saturday afternoon, I guess, 9 hours ahead of time, or 7 hours ahead of time. And then I think I mentioned Monday morning, we arranged to have a tour, and it's available to anyone.
Right.
Of the Vatican. Again, I don't think Mr. Pope's going to be there.
I don't like to ask people to get me souvenirs, but if they have a Pope bobblehead, would you get me one?
If they have one, I know they're. I've never been to Rome, so I think Tana was talking about it.
I've never been to Rome either, but I will tell you one thing.
Yeah.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do. I'm
going to try to find out why they didn't build, like I mentioned to you, why they didn't build a retractable roof at the Colosseum.
See, that's a very good question.
That's something, because they seeded, I picked up a travel book, and I didn't pick it up to say, well, here's where we're going to go to eat, and da-da-da-da.
Right.
That's all stuff's been arranged already. But I love reading about the history, and I'm fascinated, like a lot of people. Gladiator was one of my favorite movies. Going back to Ben-Hur, I think Roman history is fascinating for a lot of reasons, but I was reading about the Colosseum, and it's seated in its heyday 87,000, and they sat by gender and class basically. And what they mentioned,
so you'd be front row, because you've always
I'd have.
If Charlie were there, would he give you front row seats?
Can you imagine if I had front row seats for the Gladiators versus the Lions? Not your Lions, the real Lions. But what they said in the copy, which I found fascinating, was how they didn't have valet parking. With all due respects to our late great friend Dark Star, but they said they had so many exits, ramps, that people got out of there in a hurry.
Really,
which I found fascinating. And
they had it all figured out.
You were going back to your horses, and no pollution.
The only problem though is because when that many people are leaving, somebody's bound to step on the back of somebody's toga, and you got all sorts of troubles, right? Think of that.
Wardrobe malfunctions.
Well, that's it. That's what I'm telling you.
I think just the scope of walking. I'm anxious to see it, of course. like many people have just only seen it, in movies and
right.
Pictures that people send, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact that edifice is still standing, and they've done some reconstruction on it, and obviously it's like everything else there. It's been around for a while. But so yeah, we're gonna do the tours and do all that.
You know what? They stopped having events there because they said we need a new stadium to be competitive.
That's very true.
And we need a new stadium. They said, "Well, you're stuck with this one."
Mark Anthony said, "Ain't happening under my watch."
Yeah.
Yeah.
The owners wouldn't pay for the highest paid gladiators out there. So just kind of brought in the mediocre gladiators.
Right. Russell Crowe was
No, he was not available. He was. He went to a different place. That's funny.
I will say, I don't know why, but my entire trip at Italy, when we went to the Coliseum, it's probably like the most. I don't know if disappointed is the right word. But I got there and was like, oh. That's it, meh. I just thought it was very meh.
Yeah, I'm not. I just want to look at it. I just want to walk. I'm not going to take the big.
The outside
tour
looks cool, but
that's all I care about, honestly, because I've seen enough pictures of the inside. So
will you see the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
No, I will. That's not where we're going to be.
You're going to be near it in Florence. You can take a little.
At Florence, we will.
It's like an hour, 2-hour trip.
I don't think that's going to happen. I've been to Florence before a couple times, but we're going to go. We're asked to get a car. Our friends that we're going to be with. Or have a car. We're going to go to up to Tuscany.
Will it be an Alfa Romeo?
Well, it's big enough for my long legs, and it will be. There's 4 of us, so we'll drive up to Tuscany and spend 3-4 days there, and we're going to take some classes. I don't think they're cooking classes, but I think they're more demonstration than they are participation. I'm not sure. And then olive oil and all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to end up in my favorite city in the world is Florence. And do the normal sorts of things that we're going to be there.
Mine's McGregor, Minnesota. Don't ask me why, but I love McGregor.
That's where
Minnesota National is up there.
My late great friend R.J. Fritz had a cabin in McGregor. He was always going to McGregor. Yeah, he loved it there. Did a lot of fishing there with his Fritzy lure.
Big Sandy Lake, I bet.
Big Sandy Lake was exactly where you're right, 100%. Yeah, R.J. Just brought back some great memories.
RJ sounds like he used to wet a line.
He was great. And actually, when we went down to Karn's parents lived down in Westbrook, southwestern Minnesota. And we you kind of different routes you can go back, and it's the first time I've actually driven through Sleepy Eye, where I've been by it.
Now, did you know between Sleepy Eye and Westbrook, there's not a grocery store within 20 minutes?
Oh, I found a couple there.
Oh, you did?
Well, these good. As long as there's a Quick Trip, that's all you really care. Because a Quick Trip is like a grocery store. They have pretty much everything in there. The one in St. Peter, the one in Mankato. Quick Trips are the best.
Do you think you'll be able to rent a Ford Expedition in Italy, or is
I don't know.
I don't know Italian automobiles?
I don't know. I rented. When I was there years ago. I rented a car, and it was a European car, and I drove. Man, it was harrowing because I
wouldn't want to drive there.
No, I drove from Florence to
left
Tuscany.
Side of the road, right? Opposite side? They do that there?
Yes. Steering wheel's on the other side of the car.
It's crazy. And then I drove, the scariest part, I'm going to call it that, was driving to Venice, because then you get on the Autobahn, basically. And
I thought Venice, all they had was those canals.
Well, I'm driving to Venice.
Okay.
So I have a rental car, and they tell you, if you're going to get in basically the left lane, you better be going the equivalent of 110 miles an hour, otherwise you will get pushed off the road. And I remember I did it just briefly. I was passing a truck, and I saw these lights behind me, and like a big Mercedes or whatever. And I literally, 2 seconds, I had to get over the other lane, because this guy went by me like he was in the Indy 500 last lap. And then I had this rental car, and I drove, you're right, into Venice, the outskirts of Venice. And all of a sudden I get out of the car, and my kids are there, and I'm grabbing luggage, and this guy comes up to me, total, stranger, and he goes, I got give me your keys, basically. And I don't know if he's stealing the car, if he actually works for the rental company, but I think he actually did work for the rental company, but it wasn't like bringing it back to Hertz. So he took my car and went, okay, well, I guess I'll find out if it's, and off we went on a, little boat to get to our hotel. That was quite a trip too. That was great with the,
what kind of boat was it? A Lunds or a Lumacraft?
It was a Lunds. Yeah,
it was a Lunds. Did you know where Lunds is located? Their home office.
I do not.
New York Mills. You ever been to New York Mills?
Janet Carvenin.
Well, yeah, but
no, I have not.
You not been?
I've been probably.
Do you know where New York? Let's test Mark Rosen's geography.
I don't
know
where New York Mills is. I don't know.
How could you not know where? You've been here for 78 years? No, 74 years.
Yeah.
It's
I've
up
been by
Highway
it.
10 just outside of Detroit Lakes.
Okay, I'd probably even buy it, but I've never stopped.
I went through it once because I used to go up there to see my dad all the time.
Yeah.
Because he lived up in Carlstead. And I would take 10, and you'd get to Detroit Lakes, and then you'd take 59 all the way up into Carlstead.
Yeah.
So one time I'd driven by New York Mills so often, and when you're driving by on 10, it's not the main road. There's the downtown area. I go, as long as I've got time,
why not?
I'm going to go see it. There ain't nothing to downtown New York Mills, nothing. But It's a nice little city, and Janet Carter.
It's like when I stopped at Bolus on my way up north, because of the Bobics. Yeah, and I just
Dwayne and Rodney Bob.
Yeah, I remember covering those guys.
I got to know Dwayne pretty good because he worked for Upper Midwest Golden Gloves Boxing. So anytime I would do ring announcing at Upper Midwest Golden Gloves, he would always be there. He was
a top of the line guy until he fought Stevenson in the Olympics.
Yeah,
he got knocked out, right?
No, he beat Stevenson.
Oh, he did? Yeah. No, he didn't.
Google it.
No. I don't think. I mean, you're the boxing expert, but I didn't think he beat like Teofilo, whatever his name was, Stevenson. I thought he lost to him.
Really?
Yeah, I'm almost sure he did. I wish I was revisiting history that Bobic did win, but I think he lost.
I wished he would have won.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a short break. We've got controversial Vikings news.
Oh, no.
Little wild game is now set in stone.
Yeah, I heard. So I hear. It's game one.
It's 4:30 on Saturday, so we'll talk about that and several other topics. Your Twins club, I might be done with them now. That's a bad loss. They might be struggling. Now, maybe the bubble has burst. That was our nice little stretch, and that's all we had. But we'll break. We'll come back. We got more to get to. Common Man program with Common 10 and Mark Rosen here on The Fan.
The Wolves are taking on the Nuggets in round one of the NBA playoffs. And if you're not in the building, you're missing out. Get your tickets to Game 3 on Thursday, April 23rd and beyond at Timberwolves.com/playoffs.
Time for the Minnesota Golf Association's Peek at the Pros, brought to you by the Minnesota Golf Association. You can get more out of your game when you join the MGA. You receive a handicap index that allows players of all skill levels to compete on an equitable basis. That means Tennessee Meat Sauce would have to give you strokes. Okay. Post scores, track stats, access course GPS, and enhance your rounds with the free USGA mobile app. Play top public and private courses through the MGA North Star Series, Senior Tour, and official state championships for all levels of play. And new this year, the MGA Ladies Tour, open to any adult female member. And, of course, the ever-famous Youth On course. Junior golfers can play for just $5 on 150 courses statewide. Get more out of your game. mngolf.org/membership, mngolf.org/membership. I think they're playing at Hilton Head. I don't have the leaderboard.
Yeah, I do.
Do you have? It's a letdown for me after the Masters.
Top golfers are there.
Well, yeah, of course. It's a great golf course.
Yeah.
It's a legendary golf course.
I actually get to play it.
Did you get to play Hilton Head?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Years and years ago. But it was great.
And that's another one. Boy, must be nice. That's $500. It's $400.
It was not $400.
Well, it is now.
Well, I'm talking 20 years ago, at least. Yeah, probably 20 years ago. It was not $400.
You got the leaderboard? Because I was just going to talk about the Masters again, just briefly about how much fun it was. And I was talking to Tennant earlier about when we were talking about dynasties and all that.
Right.
And McIlroy wins again, more power to him. It'd be fun, especially if it's exciting. But I'd like to see somebody else grab a jacket, but it don't matter to me. But he was good when he had to be. He was brilliant on Friday. He birdied 6 of the last 7 holes. He's got a 6-stroke lead. And then Saturday, he struggled, shoots a 73. It's anybody's game. He's tied for the lead with Cam Young, and he didn't get off to a great start on Saturday either, but on Sunday. But he did what he needed to do to close things.
By the way, Harbortown green fees between $450 and $518
right now. I said 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, inflation.
It's inflation.
That's right.
So
that
back
sounds
then,
about right.
you were paying the equivalent
of that.
You were paying the equivalent of that.
Some.
Yeah, so back then, that was a lot.
Well,
a lot of money.
Some of us have to pay for extra green fees.
A lot of money.
You wouldn't know about that.
Right now, Ludwig Oberg, your leader, he shot an 8 under 63 today. Harris English, Victor Hovland, 1 stroke back, 7 under 64. Then you have Michael Brennan, Gary Woodland, Ryan Fox, all in the clubhouse at 6 under. And then guys like Robert McIntyre, Sung Jae Im, Sepp Straka, and Ricky Fowler at 5 under.
Where's McIlroy on the leaderboard? He ain't there. He just decided. I guess he said,
there.
you know what? think I'll just take some time off. We were both right and both wrong. Dwayne Bobbick did not beat Teofilo Stevenson in the Olympics, but he did beat him at the Pan American Games in 1972, as a matter of fact, or maybe it was 71. I believe, now again, this is probably something else I'm making up and I'm dead wrong on. I thought Stevenson, that's the only fight he ever lost. He never fought professionally because he was in Cuba and they wouldn't let him.
That's too bad.
He was really too bad. Who knows how good he would have been. And Dwayne was a really talented, I mean, his amateur record was astonishing. And he had built up a record as a pro to, I believe he was 35-0 when he got his first real big fight against a big name. He fought Kenny Norton. It was on national TV on like a Monday night.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'll never forget, I watched it. We were all really hyped and excited. And, local kid makes good.
Right.
And the one thing for Bobbick is he was a slow starter and he was susceptible to the overhand right. And Norton hit him in the Adam's apple. You can see it. I mean, think about getting punched in the Adam's apple. And I'm not making an excuse for Dwayne, but he got hit in the Adam's apple, and that was it for Dwayne. All of a sudden, there was nothing he could do, and Norton stopped him in the first round.
I didn't realize he was 38. Bobbick was 38-0.
38-0, yeah.
When he fought,
I thought it was 35. 38-0, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. He was
May of 77, you're right.
He was beating everybody he fought. He didn't beat a lot of big names, but he beat Chuck Wepner on the way up. So then after the Norton fight, he fought Scott Ledoux again in a rematch. And this is what's crazy about how Styles makes fights and such like that. Ledoux went on to have a more successful professional career than Dwayne, but Bobbick was 2-0 against Ledoux. That just wasn't how they fought. But then, Bobbick only lost 4 fights in his pro career, but they were all knockout losses to Cali Canozzi of South Africa. And he lost his last 2 fights of his career to a couple of, John Tate was at one time the heavyweight champ of the world, but that lasted for 1 fight. And Tate was just okay. And then George Chaplin was another guy that, was on the fringe of the rankings and was okay. But Dwayne lost to both of those guys back to back, and that was it for Dwayne. But he had amateur, he was as good as it gets.
And much like our good friend, the late Scott Ledoux, I was reading, I didn't know Dwayne was still alive. He's 75, but he's been dealing with a lot of dementia issues. And he says, I'm not sure I would have gone into boxing back then if I would known all the effects of head trauma that I have today. I don't regret the experience, intense training, and discipline I learned from the sport, but he's suffered the consequences like many have in boxing, football. I mean, it's a fact of life.
I talked to Scott's widow after he passed away. When I wrote my book, I wanted to include a chapter on Scott because we were, I wouldn't say we were close friends, but after his career, we got to know each other. And because I didn't know him during his career, I went to a lot of his fights, but I didn't know him. But it wasn't until he retired, and then I had a chance to meet him over at Canterbury. I think I met him before Canterbury. We worked together at Canterbury where they were doing Golden Gloves boxing between fights, and Scott and I would talk. But anyways, I wanted to include him in the book. I wanted to get a photo of him, so I went over there. And I did ask her. I said, did he ever, because Scott died at the age of 62, the boxer, pugilist, whatever they call
that's what they're talking. That's what Bobbick is.
And I asked him, I said, did he ever express any regrets? She said no. She said he wouldn't do it any other way because he loved the life. He was willing to sacrifice 10, 12 years of his life to have the life he did, which travel all over the world, fight some of the, he fought 11 fighters who were either at the time the world champ or held a share of the title. So he
took a hell of a lot of punches.
Yeah, but there you go. Scott had a different opinion than Bobbick. And Dwayne also has. He injured his arm, because he became a worker at a factory. I don't remember what he was doing, but he got his arm injured. So he's got one hand and arm is kind of.
Getting back to Scott, and I hate to single anybody out, but if there was anyone that spent more time working with various charities and giving of his time, I can't think of anyone more than Scott Ledoux.
He had his
never
own,
said no.
He had his own tournament up at. He would hold it up in
the golf tournament.
Up in Big Lake forever. Oh yeah, he had golf. Yeah, he would go everywhere. He worked with Make-A-Wish. He was really close with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Yeah, Scott.
His trainer was Joe Daskowitz, right?
Joe Daskowitz, Papa Joe.
What a character he was.
His son Chuck Daskowitz also turned pro for a while. He was Kid Pollock.
Yeah.
But he tried fighting for a while, and then And then Chuck got into the business of training fighters and such like that.
I wish our paths would have crossed a little bit more than they did when you were sweeping floors and I was hanging out at WCCO, because my boss, Hal Scott, was a huge boxing fan. And boxing in its heyday here in Minneapolis was something with Golden Gloves and everything else. And the characters that worked the ring, in the ring, outside the ring. I mean, it's
what it's all about.
Oh, my God. I mean, boxing is notorious for that, but we had them all here in the Twin Cities.
That's why I like the sport, because, all of those, everybody that's involved in the fight game, not everybody, but pretty close. Everybody I've met at all the different gyms in town and all of them. I've been, on the fringes of the boxing community for 25 years. Yeah. And it's a cast of characters, but they're all salted with people. They'd give you the shirt off their back, man.
Yeah, 100% right.
It's just it's and a lot of it has to do with again, like, let's say you're going to be a Major League Baseball player, basketball player, big contracts right away and first class travel and all of that.
Nothing.
And in boxing, it's just like, well, no, you just have to, you
go down to the local gym and
then you got. Now, again, it was different for some people. Like, back in '76 when Sugar Ray Leonard, we had I think it was 5 Americans won gold medals. Davey Moore, Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah. I think was it both the Spinks? Were they part of that '76 team?
Sure,
or did they both win gold medals? I think we had like 5 or 6 gold medal winners. And so that they were and that's when boxing was in the Olympics did they even they still have boxing in the Olympics, don't they?
Nobody pays attention to it that I'm aware of.
No, not that I'm aware of either. But, and so like Leonard, because of who he was, I mean, he didn't have to go to some dingy gym. He got Angelo Dundee right away and boom, he made, he was, I don't know if I don't remember because it's been so long ago. I think his pro debut might have been a nationally televised bout. I mean, that's how highly regarded.
I don't even know. Maybe you do. I don't even know if Golden Glove boxing really exists that much. Is it going well?
Now, yes.
I'm happy to hear that. Was it Harry Davis? That was instrumental in making Minneapolis, St. Paul kind of a landing spot for some of the top Golden Glove boxers around.
Yeah.
It was
Golden Glove boxing is big.
I'm happy to hear that.
It still is out there.
Good.
Let's take our final break and come back. We will talk some Wild Hockey Wolves basketball. Get Mark's take on that and the Twins too. Maybe a couple of other items. Rosie's last appearance for a couple of weeks. We'll take a short break. Come back with more here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Join KFAN's Meat Sauce at Fleet Farm in Carver this Saturday for their Fleet Fest celebration. Join us from 10 a.m. to noon for incredible deals, free food, and prizes. Get the full details now at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's 10 to be the legendary one. Mark Rosen here as well. So it is 4:30 Saturday. Wild will take on the Dallas Stars. Game 1 of a best of 7. Two teams don't like each other very much. Tenby, what was the season record? Did they split?
They split.
They split the season record. It seems like a couple of evenly matched clubs. Your thoughts?
Well, I think yes, they do, and we've known for quite a while that this was going to be the first round pairing, and I know Quinn Hughes missed practice today. People were like hitting the panic button, and he was sick. What does that mean?
I hit the panic button too. You don't blame people, do you? I mean, because at first they just said not practicing.
Right. Well, and people were like, I'd rather hear that he was sick than having some lower body injury.
Yes, correct.
So I think, one would assume he'll be fine by Saturday afternoon, but let's hope so. He's the quarterback of that team, as we all know. Yeah, there was so much discussion today about, again, the goaltending situation, which John Hines has not announced yet, or Bill Guerin, and I don't know much. And Ken, that was an interesting point that was made today, too. I think I heard Russo on. Does Bill Guerin have of course he's going to have conversations. He's the bleeping general manager. But what kind of influence or say does he have when he talks to John Hines about the rotation, who's starting game 1? You look at Gus with his record.
I asked him to be the same question.
You did. I'm sorry. I missed that.
That's okay. I think we talked about it yesterday. And I don't think anybody really knows, right?
They don't.
Tenneby?
In my opinion, the GM should not be making decisions on who's playing.
And I agree with that as well.
But,
Yep.
Does John Hines have a little inner circle of, hey, let's talk about this? What do you think we should do here? Is Bill Guerin in that inner circle? I would assume so. So if Bill Guerin is saying, hey, you need to start this goalie, I think he's overstepping his bounds. Just as if Craig Leopold said, I want you starting this goalie. He shouldn't. That's not his lane.
Right.
Stay out of that lane. You put the players together in the roster. It's on the coach. It should be on the coach and the coaching staff, and probably the goalie coach more specifically to talk about who should be starting. But if Bill Guerin wants to give his opinion on it, sure, but he should not be the final decision maker.
I mean, John Hines understands. I mean, if he does start Gus, and we know he's been struggling of late, although we know he has a lot more experience. He has Olympic experience. He's got, we know that. But if he starts game one and the Wild, and he gives up some soft goals, et cetera, and
if they lose, particularly,
why didn't you start the kid and then you come back? And I think Russo even said that if that scenario played out, there's no doubt they come back with Wallstead in game two. But that's not to suggest that the kid may still get the call in game one. I still think they got to do a lot of other things. Obviously, the goalie's got to play well and be the centerpiece of what they're doing, but. The Wild have enough on their plate to worry about doing the things they have to do in order to win the game. But the power play, in particular, special teams, the play at center, just letting their big guns take over with with Hughes and Kaprizov and Boldy, and even Ryan Hartman, who's playing really, really well right now. So. I mean, it should be a great series. I don't think anyone's going to run away with that one or the Wolves series.
I think it's going to be a sweep.
By
Wild.
Oh, you do?
Winning 4.
Okay. All right.
That's what I'm going with.
Hope you're right.
So
that would be very unusual.
So I'm going to ask the question you always do when there's controversial topics like this.
Sure.
I want you to tell me, in the goalie situation, who do you think they'll start? And if you were the guy making the decision, who would you start? That's my question. Who do you think they'll start? And if it were up to you, who would you start?
I think reading the tea leaves, and you can't. My hunch is that Gus gets the start.
Okay.
I think that's what John Hines will go with, the experience. Even though he's had things happen, and I again, even hearing Russo talk about talking to Gus after games, he's saying, the game didn't mean anything. I think throwing his defense under the bus, pardon the pun, that things weren't real good in front of me, but they still rely on him. I'd go with Wallstead. I'd go with the kid. I just would. But it's one game out of potential 7.
On both those. I think they'll start. We had a little discussion yesterday about what are most people expecting, and most people are expecting. And I'm like, to me, that's crazy. I mean, I'm expecting just by not knowing, just like this goaltender's performance over the last 10, 12 games, this goaltender's performance over the last 10, 12 games, this is the guy. I would expect him to start. That's what my expectation would be, but it's not always as simple as that. Right. Do you think any of this, either one of you, Tenneby or Rosie, do you think sometimes, I just don't know if Gus has got that kind of cachet. What I'm about to say is, because he's the veteran and this and that and everything, you just kind of go, hey, we're giving it to Gus because of what you've done to the league, what you've done here. We're giving it to you because it's the respect that we do. Do you think that could be part of it? And do you think teams should do that? Because I think that happens a lot of times in sports where they'll go, this guy's been not that Gus is an all-time great because he's not, but I'm just saying but if you have an all-time great or something, you just acquiesce and give it to somebody because it's almost like a tip of the cap to him.
Well, I think there's something to be on here what Tenney has to say. There's the analytics, and Hines was asked about that today. Those aren't the only two people. They rely on their goalie coach. They rely on other people. They're in the room all the time. They know the temperature of the goaltending mindset, I think, better than all of us sitting back here that we're not involved with it. And to suggest that, whatever call they make, they're going to get second guessed. And I think potentially they will. But I think there's something to be said about that. But I also think that sometimes they might just go, you know what, I want to go with the guy that I think will raise his level of play, because it's the cup.
It's the cup.
and that's all I'm saying. That's why I think they will go with Gus, but who knows? And that's one game. It's one game out of potentially
part of this too is like Gus has had a good year.
Yeah, he has.
Like, he hasn't had an unbelievable year, but he's had a good year. He's been solid all season long until down the stretch. He hasn't been great. So it'd be a lot easier if he had a bad year to go, well, we can't go with the veteran here. We got to go with the young guy. I just think Volsted's, I don't think there's a huge difference between the two. I just think he's better. And he's got a little more personality, a little more juice. I think I think he'll inject a little bit more confidence in the team than a Gus would. He's just kind of not a whole lot of personality and is just kind of trying to make the saves he's supposed to make. Whereas I think Gus can steal a game for you or steal a period for you.
Gus or
excuse me,
Volstead.
Volstead.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would go Volstead because I think I don't think there's a significant difference between the two of them, which is maybe why they're leaning towards the veteran. But I think he's better.
Well, to answer my question, do you think because he's the veteran and they think it's kind of close that they just go, let's give it to him?
I think the NHL does it a lot.
Yeah. Well, they did it with Flower, didn't they, a few years ago?
Both of them were veterans at that point, but he was a whole another level of veteran.
Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer.
But with his, he had playoff history. He'd been great in the playoffs before. He had a history of elevating his game come postseason.
Meanwhile, there's no discussion in Dallas. Our local guy, their guy, Ottinger, has been terrific against the Wild. Has he not? He's got a great record against them. He's got a lot of experience. He's been in big games. He knows what it takes. So they don't have to worry about that because he's going to play every game, for them.
He's a Lakeville product.
Yes, he is. He's awfully good. So that's, again, I guess you say advantage Dallas because they know he's going to be in the nets and someone is going to have to step up and prove that they're not going to give up that net once they get that job. So
that post was it a year or two ago when he was having a good postseason run. I said he's the best Minnesota-born goalie in the history of our state.
Oh,
how soon you forget Kevin Gord?
No offense to KG, I would take Jake Ottinger over KG.
Did Ottinger ever win a state championship?
I don't remember if he did or not.
Probably not.
Huh.
I know he was at the state tournament. I know that.
No, did he win it? Gorgie won it. Didn't Gord win?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Burnsville.
The two greatest athletes ever out of Minnesota
on Channel 4
are both in this building.
Yes.
Gord and Justin Gard.
That's right.
He claims to be a two-time boys state high school Minnesota State. I think just one, but who knows? Maybe two. Two-time tennis tournament. Gord won a Stanley Cup. Who's better? Of course, you could winning a handful of NBA titles for Double T. That's very big, too.
That makes a difference.
And then I won a blue ribbon.
In the what?
6th grade track and field day at Adams Elementary School in the sack race.
Well, so it's hard to top that.
We've got championship timber in this building.
Ottinger didn't stay at Lakeville North the whole time because he went to the U.S. National Development Team for 2 seasons. So
okay.
That would explain the lack of a state tournament.
Boo.
If I were to throw out the team nobody wants to play, who would you say?
In what, the NHL?
Pick any sport. Right now, as we speak.
The team that no one wants to play?
Golden State Warriors.
You are correct,
Minnesota Twins.
Oh, please.
What do you mean, please? Did you see that? Vintage.
I went to bed after the first half.
Vintage. Draymond shut down Kawhi Leonard, one of the greatest shooters in the history of the game.
And he's been playing at a high level.
Steph was simply magnificent last night.
Yeah.
That was special last night.
I want to see Golden State go play Oklahoma City. That would be, they'd push me around a little bit. Draymond would, that's for sure. I mean, he can take no guff from SGA. That would be fun to watch.
Nobody wants to play Golden State.
I don't know about that, but it's they got a long ways to go. But it's still, I mean, the play-in games are the play-in games. But Golden State has, they for a while I was watching there and going, well, they did turn back the clock a little bit. I mean, Draymond was playing great defense. He was engaged, and obviously Steph came out and did his thing. I didn't see the second half, so I didn't stay up and watch it. But
you didn't see the second half?
I was tired. I went to bed. I just
you missed. Steph was on fire.
Listen, all these play-in games, say what you want, you poke fun at them, whatever it is. You can tell, like I said, the level of play. I watched...
well, you went to bed.
No, the 76ers game I watched. And And so I saw, they came back and won that one. That was, again, the crowds were really into it. I still trying to understand the format, why a losing team gets to play another game. They play another team on Friday night, and I just, wake me up when it gets to Saturday. Well, I guess I won't be here, but I'll be monitoring it from a distance. And the Wolves and Wild play, 2 hours apart on Saturday? Yeah.
Correct.
Wow. That's crazy. And now all we know is game one. There's like a whole bunch of games that end the NHL season tonight.
Yeah.
It's Thursday. I know I talked about this before.
We talked about it, though. You got Barnum Bailey, Ringling Brothers.
Well, this is true. Yeah.
You got the Flying Walendas.
You got concerts. You got,
Carl Walenda and the Walenda family doing trapeze. Cirque du Soleil.
Right.
Taylor Swift. I mean.
You got concerts.
Yeah, you got things going down.
I know. Well, the schedule will be out at some point. Maybe it'll probably be out late tonight for the Wild series against Dallas. Yeah.
And of course, we already knew this, but is it what time again is it for the Wolves? 12:30?
No, later.
Are they at 2 or 2:30?
2:30. 2:30 start against
here, yeah.
Denver.
Right.
You made your prediction. You think Denver wins the series? I do as well. I don't think it's impossible for the Wolves to win. I'm basing it mostly on, and I know I'm the first guy to say just because this hasn't happened doesn't mean it can't, and vice versa. But the way they've approached, you read the quote from Ant, the way they've approached the entire season. I just find it at this level. I think Denver won. Did they win their last 10, 12 games?
12.
They're on a roll. And now that doesn't mean they can't get off a roll, but the way they're playing and the way we've kind of just stumbled around, I just think. But of course, that it is a 7-game series, so you can find your footing even if you've been stumbling. But and I'd love to see the Wolves advance, but I just think. Well, and like I said, I won't be shocked if they do it, but I think Denver's going to win.
Well, both teams are loaded with stars, and they can break down the strategy 1,000 different ways, and how the Wolves play when Joker has to sit for a few minutes or more than a few minutes, and how they're going to, he's going to get his points. I think the stat you want to keep down for Joker is his assists, because he's probably going to get his 40, but you got to limit his assists. Be nice if single digits, but he's so good at and so adept at getting his teammates involved. He's not just a pure scorer. He does a lot of things, but the Wolves are deep too. They got both these teams, I think, have elements that they didn't even have when they played, obviously a number of times in the postseason. But I think the Wolves are a deeper team and add a different element that they haven't had before with an up-tempo style. And Denver's got, they got healthier guys that can give them a boost off the bench, led by Tim Hardaway. Could potentially give the Wolves fits too. But I just don't see it being a short series. I think there's teams know each other so well. I think minimum 6, maybe 7, probably 7.
Let me ask a question. What do you think is at stake for Donovan Mitchell and the Cavaliers in this playoff series?
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's on the screen up there. Oh. I'm just so glad I don't have. I'm so glad I don't have to discuss that.
No. Oh, I don't know. Just trying to win a series.
Yeah. What's at stake as well? If they win the first round, they move to the second. If they don't, they're done.
That's what's at stake. I mean, if you're going to discuss stuff in the East,
they're breaking it down, Mark. They're breaking it down like we can't.
They have nothing but airtime to fill. I mean, you want to talk about the two elite teams in the East. I mean, you're talking about Detroit and Boston, and we've talked about it.
There's a lot at stake for the Cavaliers. I just don't know what it is, but apparently there's plenty at stake for them.
LeBron ain't coming back to them. So.
The Twins lost after going won 8 of 9, then they lost yesterday. And you know what? You can't win them all, as they say. No team has gone undefeated in Major League Baseball. But I do like to start, and I think you mentioned, is it Cincinnati next? Is that our next?
Yeah, they're off. It's too bad they're off today. This perfect weather day.
Yeah.
But they are playing. They continue their homestand, so they can
What's
enjoy
Cincinnati like? Do you have a record?
Yeah,
there?
I do. They're actually having off to a pretty good start.
Okay.
They are 11-8, so pretty close to the Twins. Same record as the Twins.
Someone's got to give them, right?
They're 11.
They're 11-7.
11-7.
Well, I got 11-8 of mine.
Oh, maybe MLB.com is not updated then.
I don't know. So I don't know much. I don't.
Well, now they're 11-8. I just hit refresh and they went 11-8.
They got shut out today by their Giants.
Okay, they lost today. Yeah,
3-0. So they are the same record. And
getaway day for them.
Well, the one, the Twins have been. They showed Simeon Woods Richardson that the Twins have not. He's pitched well at times, but the team has not.
Who?
Who
pitched well at times?
Woods Richardson.
Oh yeah. He was not good yesterday.
No, he hasn't been, and their record hasn't been good. Now tomorrow, Joe Ryan's pitching for the Twins, opening the series.
That's a W for us, shouldn't it be?
The Reds. I don't know, man. I'm looking about some of the players on this team. Man, I have no idea who these guys are. Well, these guys who are injured. So,
you'd love to talk old Cincinnati Reds. We're a big red machine with Pete Rose, Johnny Bench.
Those were Dave Concepcion.
Yeah, remember those days?
Of course, I remember those days. George Foster.
Yeah.
They had quite the lineup. Maybe one of the best lineups. Modern day lineups in baseball
Did they
history.
win 3 World Series in a row, too? I know Oakland did back in the early 70s. They was 71, 72, 73.
My mind is
72, 73, 74, maybe. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But Oakland won 3 in a row.
Yeah, they sure did. Charlie Finley.
Yeah, that
was a great team.
Someone sent a text from Fargo. He says, "Hey, from Fargo." And he says, Dana Moore, the Wolves reporter, just said Peyton Watson is doubtful for Denver.
Yeah, he's right.
Right? So that's just doubtful, though?
I think he might be out.
Well, if he's out, he's a very good defender.
He is.
There was a Denver reporter that was on Dane Moore's podcast and said that he expects Peyton Watson to miss the entire series.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't help him, especially defensively.
He's an ace defender.
Yeah.
Is what I'm told. I don't know. I've not watched Denver play much basketball.
Yeah, I mean it should be a great series, and it's exciting. I mean, you can talk about all you want about but the Wolves have to look in the mirror and go, well, we made it tough on ourselves, and they could have been playing the Lakers in the first round. You just never know how these things are going to turn out. But
let me ask you a question.
It comes down to OKC and San Antonio.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
let's say Doncic and Reeve wouldn't have been hurt. Let's say they were both healthy and playing.
Right.
Would you have rather played Denver or LA then?
I would not have wanted to play LA at that point.
I think you might be right.
I just think that they were on a real. Yeah. I mean, Denver's been on a roll, but the Lakers were really on a roll with those. I mean, Doncic and Reeves, and then throw in a Sprite 41-year-old LeBron James and Hachimura, and that was a team that was playing really at a really high level. So. There's not. I mean, the West is loaded. We know that. We got OKC and San Antonio. I mean, those teams are going to have to play somebody else. And maybe if it's Golden State, then maybe Steph Curry will turn back the clock and see what he can do against them. And that in
I
itself,
guarantee you one right now. Nobody in that Thunder locker room wants to play there.
No, they want to avoid.
They do not.
They have no control of that. Golden State
in any way, shape, or form.
Correct, sir.
The kid that's starting for the Reds, a couple of people are telling me, is he was born in Fairmont, Minnesota.
Oh, tomorrow's pitcher, Brendan Williamson?
Yeah, played his high school ball in Sherburne at Martin County West.
Oh, wow.
So
interesting.
Home state kid makes good.
Yeah.
So then if the Twins were to lose, the consolation prize would be if the Williamson kid pitched well, you could say, well, hey, you know what? One of us played well. So, you really, you know what? You can't win for lose. No, you can't lose for win. Either result would be good.
Right.
Well,
arrivederci.
Gesundheit. Yeah. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, I guess.
Yes, you will.
Very good. But now you said you'd call in.
No, I'm not going to call in.
Not once?
No. I'm eating dinner every time you're on the air. People don't eat in Italy till 8:30 at night. That's when you're on the air. I want to be disengaged from everything here. That's just the way I want to look at it.
No, you
don't want to be involved with any.
You don't have the loyalty or the dedication.
No, I do not anymore.
That's sad. I don't. We'll have fun on vacation.
No, he doesn't blame me. You do the same thing.
I'd like to be disengaged too. Yeah. But we're starting at 3.
I'm disappointed. Tenby, thanks for having a safe trip.
Great job.
All right.
Have a safe trip. Tenby, thanks for having me. We're back tomorrow at 12 noon. Who's playing in Program Password?
Beyond the Pond, Pat Micheletti and Kevin Falness.
Sweet. That's tomorrow at 1:30. Little B at 1. Big Ticket JG are next.
Back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.